And there's Trish and Be Controversial join us. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Jesus, I really am phoning it in today. Hold up a second. Hold up. I'm gonna do the fat electrician gag where I wait till the show starts and then I turn on the freaking studio lights. All right, I got Mario with me this morning. We're gonna talk about stuff. And guys, I'm sorry, kind of phoning it in this morning, and I'll tell you what happened. I woke up. I was trolling through some news stuff. There's a lot that happened yesterday that's kind of it's worth addressing, but it's just a couple of minutes per topic, and I'm sitting here trying to think, okay, what am I going to lead with, and then I ended up on the phone with somebody and had a long conversation. Then I realized, holy shit, I don't have time to do a graphic but you know what? I can talk.
Basically, the fruit is growing. We see it on the vine, but it is not yet sufficiently ripe to harvest. Okay, so
there's a couple of things from yesterday that we want to address, but like one of them is flipping. Trump threatened 104% tariffs on China to start last night. Okay, well, we've beat the tariffs conversation to death, but I mean, that might be worth talking about a bit.
There are fresh beatings to occur daily. The problem is the macroeconomic, the macroeconomic forces at hand are a little bit beyond my comprehension, unfortunately. So what I do understand is basically it looks like the stock market might collapse by like 80%, okay, which is, well, basically a financial reset for the United States, and I'm okay with that. All right, it appears that, and once again, I will open my disclaimer. I apologize, Sergeant Major. I don't want to do this, but Trump may have in fact executed Day of the Pillow. Okay, the day when all boomer accounts will be settled. Okay, it's boomer apocalypse. 401ks are gone. That retirement home, it's gone. The boat, it's gone. It's all gone. Okay. Day of the Pillow.
We beat up on the boomers a bit, but I know a few boomers who they're all right. I know more than a few boomers that you can't wipe them out. I mean, if you want, and that is actually part of the problem economically in America is a lot of the boomers right now, the boomers that are going to get hurt by this economic turn are not actually the boomers that are the problem. The boomers that are the problem, they'll have some losses, but they cannot be wiped out by an economic downturn. It would literally take the collapse of the U.S. dollar.
Yeah. Despite all the hysteria you hear about stocks, okay, it is 8% of the 8% of the country owns 88% of the stocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Trump has accomplished, and if you're a leftist, okay, be grateful. Trump actually achieved Occupy Wall Street. Okay, he did what Bernie Sanders promised to do. All right, just not in the same way. So, anyway.
Yeah, but Tim Pool was beaten up on the numbers yesterday, and something like the median 401k for a millennial right now is like $50,000.
Well, yeah, exactly. So it's
if you're in your 40s like us, and you don't have a separate retirement plan in place,
yeah,
or you're planning on retiring on your 401k, and your 401k is worth $50,000. Sorry, buddy, you need to learn how to say welcome to Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, if I look at, I've got a 401k.
Aaron Olson's trying to correct me, says 15K. No, so the average is 50, but the majority of them have 15 or less.
Right. So yeah, if you look at, for me, for example, okay, I never really took the 401k thing all that seriously. Put money into mine kind of half-heartedly through both the Army and in the civilian world. So yeah, like as far as on the civilian side, it's maybe like 50-something thousand, and then on the military side with my old TSP account, okay, that's sitting at like 40-something. So basically, I've got just under 100K, all right, in 401k, which I'm sure has taken a hit. I don't even follow it. It's just money that don't really. It's money I don't really expect, I'll ever see. It's magical notional money that one day I might withdraw or be able to withdraw from, but whatever. Um, but yes, exactly. This stock market collapse, the 401k collapse, okay, it's affecting one generation and one generation alone. And it is in fact that one generation that grew up in the basically easiest economy the United States or the world has probably ever seen. All right,
Yep.
they made their fortunes, and they spent fortunes. All right, and well, did you that like you talk about, Chris, how freedom and liberty is an anomaly within the vast ocean of history? Okay, well, so is that type of economic development. That was also an anomaly, and you know, through in history. So what I don't know what to say, but
Yeah,
what I
like
do
Pat
know.
Penny says, if you're properly diversified, you can withstand this correction. Hey, I don't have a 401k.
Yep.
I have other vehicles. And I'm gonna be okay.
I've got lots of ammunition, which is basically will be currency at some point if
Yes.
when the bottom falls out. Okay.
I know Uncle Steve's watching right now. He came to visit us out here a few weeks ago and showed up and just handed my wife, because her daily carry is a little 9mm. He showed up, fucking paint can of 9mm. And by the way, for any of you out there who are watching this channel and you're not gun nuts and don't stockpile ammunition, or you can't really see. Good. Wrong button. Don't stockpile ammunition and don't understand it. Let me just tell you, a paint can of 9mm is a weapon in and of itself. That some bitch is heavy.
Oh, literally 50 round bricks of 45 ACP. You can kill a man with that.
Yeah, and you don't even have to put it in a Chicago typewriter.
Yeah, when I load up the range bag, okay.
But if you do, it will run like a sewing machine.
But it's like if I load up the range bag, okay, you could tell immediately upon lifting it if we're focusing on 9mm, 45, or 5.56 that day. Okay, distinct weight difference. And yeah, 45 ACP is a heavy some bitch. All right. Well, oh, by the way, I appreciate what you've been doing lately with the ATF, Cash Patel. But where's my suppressor? Where's my over-the-counter suppressor?
Hey, I was just talking to Cameron this morning.
Get on that shit.
I was just talking to Cameron this morning, and I told him, once we solve the NFA problem,
yep,
I don't care if it's 10 or 20 grand. I will own a Maw Deuce. Now, I may never fire my privately owned Maw Deuce because it'll cost like $5 grand a minute to hold those fucking butterflies down. But if the opportunity arises, I will own a Maw Deuce. Well, and I'll have enough ammo to put it to work when I have to. But the only way we're going to be shooting it with any regularity is if millions of people are watching us do it on Rumble.
if they were more frequent, if more people owned Maw Deuces than 50 BMG, there'd be more production of it. Therefore, the price would
correct.
Drop.
Supply, so, supply would rise to meet demand, and the price would respond accordingly. If you've never fired a Maw Deuce, I can tell you this. If you've never actually had the opportunity to get behind a Maw Deuce, let me just tell you, the first time you put your thumbs on that butterfly, you're done, son. You've got the bug, and you won't roll out of bed for a week.
It's real power. In fact, it's an unnatural amount of power to put in the hands of one person. Unnatural amount of power.
Of course, I mean, surely you fired a Mark 19.
I have not. I'm not. I was not an MI superhero like you. Okay, I was a MI weenie.
Okay, so
my brother has though. He informed me
that. Oh, okay. Maw Deuce is Mark 19 is it's an automatic weapon.
Yeah,
but it's firing 40mm grenades, right? and it's got the butterflies, and you put your thumbs on the butterflies, and it goes.
Yeah, with its satisfying lag time. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you push the butterfly, it's just like wait for it.
Yeah.
And it's safe to move in that direction.
Yeah.
Completely
The mod
safe.
the mod deuce can demolish a home and re-level the ground. Okay, for a fresh construction. I can't imagine what a Mark 19 would do. Basically, just neighborhood clearances like Cromwell. Anyway,
well,
so
I mean, sometimes the answer is, well, we keep getting ambushed here, so we're going to put a minefield here and make the enemy go around. Sometimes the answer is we keep getting ambushed here, so we're just going to move all the buildings in this city back.
That's how Russia has conducted the Soviet. That's how Russia has conducted the Russo-Ukraine war, basically. Okay, they keep attacking us from these. They've converted these commie blocks into fortresses, and they keep attacking us from them. Well, artillery gone. Okay, we liberated the city by destroying the city. Okay, and that is a military reality, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Trump says so Trump did his whole tariff thing on Monday.
Can I say one thing quick to the audience? I apologize for my appearance. Okay, we had a gas main break at my house on a Monday morning before I was able to get in the shower. Basically, there's no hot water here, and there won't be until tomorrow. So I do like a 4-mile walk run. Okay, every morning. So
and he sweats olive oil.
And I sweat. I sweat a lot. I sweat like an absolute savage. I sweat like a pedophile in general population. Okay, it's bad. So basically, I can't clean myself, so I'm relying on the fresh sweat of every morning to wash away the old sweat from the previous day, with some supplemental assistance from baby wipes. I had to break out the time-honored army tradition of taking a whore bath. Okay, you can actually clean all essential parts of your body with just 2 baby wipes. You may not have realized that. Okay, take a bit.
Now it's smell-o-vision.
Baby wipe number 1 used to wash your face, behind your ear, and your pits. Okay, and then baby wipe number 2 is to wash your penis. Okay, like you got to make Jordan Peterson proud. Wash your penis, okay, and then wash your ass, okay. It's like George Carlin said, okay. Just there's like 5 essential parts of the body you have to clean. All right,
and you can save a lot of time if you do them with the same brush.
With 2 baby wipes, you could take care of it all. All right, many a morning in Iraq spent that way.
And it should not be lost on anyone that when Carlin told that joke, he tells it in a certain order. He says there's 5 key areas: armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth. Right? Yeah. Or 4 key areas: armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth. And you save a lot of time if you use one brush. And it should not be lost on you that he lists the teeth last.
Yeah. And Danny says that you can smell me.
I'll own 4 brushes.
It's true. I do have an odor right now. It's not too bad though, because I have, I'm day 33 without alcohol. If I was drinking heavily, then it would be truly awful. Okay, but I do have that particular smell that I remember Koreans complaining about. Okay, Koreans,
Americans smell like butter.
America, or cheese. They say we smell like spoiled cheese. Okay, white people smell like cheese is a common thing that Northeast Asians will say. Okay, much like how white people think that black people smell bad, Asians think that we smell bad. Okay, but yeah, I do distinctly have that that queso fresco, like that white cheese you sprinkle on top of your burrito. I have that distinct smell. Okay.
Yeah, Americans, especially white Americans, smell like cheese. Koreans smell like kimchi. Yeah. The Japanese and more coastal Chinese tend to smell like fish. You get around the Germans, and it's sauerkraut, which is basically kimchi without spices.
Yep.
I mean, culturally, ethnically, it has more to do with the diet than anything.
Right. And we all know what Indians smell like. We all know about Indians. Okay, Indians are the prime example of how what you eat affects what you smell like. Okay, this is Fee. This is a loosey goosey show. Okay, Fee. If you were looking for
Sergeant Major says I smell like victory.
what
Damn
do
right.
you know what, Fee? You know what? That's fine. You know what? Mario Romano is offering you real financial advice. He's liable for what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your Series 7 out.
Do what I say, and prepare your class action lawsuits.
So, in real talk on the investment side, though, we were talking about the stock market crashing and all this stuff. Okay, they say crash, but let's see. What does it look like today? Is it pretty? No, not particularly. But is it a total collapse? Is it total nightmare? Okay, so here's your all-time, right? A little perspective, guys. For those of us that are 40, the market is basically tracked with us. So when Mario and I were born, the market was around $1,000, around 1,000 on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And today, it's down from its high of 43 something, around 37,000. Right now, yesterday looks like a really bad day, and it wasn't great. But you got to remember this graph is only showing 2,000 points of spread over the last 5 days. We had just hit a pretty substantial peak. Now this isn't the all-time high, but it's pretty high.
Uh-oh.
And then everybody started freaking out about, or no, that just shows April 7th and 8th, because this is just this week. So if you guys remember, on Monday, I said we're going to get back half of everything we lost, right? So this is last week right here. It looks like just a nightmare starting on the 2nd, right? So last week, it blew down over the weekend, and then Monday morning, I said, guys, we're going to get half of it back by lunchtime today. That's what I said on Monday. And sure enough, what happened on Monday? Exactly what I said would happen. And then
it's going to go back. Apparently, it's going to go back down again. Okay.
I fully expect that in response to the tariffs, we're going to see it drop some more, and kind of stabilize into a reset on what is, let's face it, a substantially overinflated market. I mean, we're looking at a correction, and corrections happen. Historically, you can look at the graph and you can see the corrections. But before I pop back over the graph to talk about that for a second, let me just say, if you're in it and you're worried about your money, your 401k, your whatever investments that just took a big hit, okay, the graph over time, graph go up.
It's like this. If
you can't lose money in the stock market unless you choose to lose money in the stock market. Once you're in it, you don't lose until you choose to quit while you're down.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. If you have placed a significant stake of your financial future in the stock market, okay, I'll make this simple for you. You have one option right now. Just hold, okay? Hold, reduce spending. If you're living on some kind of annuity that's based on a 401k or whatever, then you just need to reduce your spending, all right? I know that's easier said than done, but show a little discipline, okay? Just hold. Don't sell it. If you sell now, you're going to lose. If you try to buy the dip right now, you may also lose, okay? Just hold. Unless you're holding stock at night.
No, if you try to buy the dip right now, you'll be okay.
I don't know.
Even if you buy when it's high, all you got to do is hold, and you're going up over time.
Yeah, eventually, yes. Eventually, right. Yes. Okay.
Now, unless you like maybe 10 or 20 years for a substantial return, but that's what we're talking about, right? We're not talking about day trading, right? Um, like, I mean, I used to do some day trading when I was deployed, when I was in Afghanistan. I mean, like that was my cocaine, man. I would just buy like $10,000 or $20,000 worth of Ford stock or something, and then go out on mission because I'm gonna get blown up and die anyway. Who cares? So fuck it. Let's just throw some money away. It'll be fun. And I'd come back and I'd be a little richer, or I wouldn't. But you know what? I was on the right side of the dirt, and that was good enough for me. And it was just kind of like, there's nothing quite like being in a gunfight while the market's volatile and you've got money riding. Nothing quite like it.
I'm glad you said that, because there's a significant subset of investors who basically do just that as their full-time occupation, day trading. Okay, and yeah, those people are screwed. You just need to
Yeah.
you need to leave the casino for a while. Okay, stop touching the buttons. Leave the casino. All right.
I did that shortly after I got back, Mario.
Go touch grass. Go.
Fee and I went and visited her folks in Washington, and we went to one of the reservations in Idaho, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, baby. I know you're watching. I think it was one in Idaho, but we went to a casino, and I had my freaking iPhone in my hand, sitting at the table, playing blackjack and day trading. And it was, yeah, that because I was looking for that. I was looking for that hit. I was looking for that adrenaline hit. That, like I said, nothing like a gunfight with money on the line. And I'm here to tell you, day trade at the blackjack table doesn't quite get there. I thought it might. Doesn't quite get there. Haven't really found anything that gets there. I've found stuff that's having kids, way better, way more fulfilling, satisfying, all that stuff. But jumping off of bridges, crazy motorsports, sport fighting, hell, fighting, sport fighting with live steel and armor. I've tried a lot of different. Nothing touches a gunfight, especially one while you've got that kind of day trade in the back of your head while you're slinging lead.
I mean, look, if you're really looking for that, for that excitement, okay, I've heard that playing Russian roulette really, really gives you that adrenal spike you might be looking for. So,
yeah, take a
look at that if you're interested. Okay.
I do have some risk aversion. Actually, when I got out of the Army, I opened an insurance brokerage, and I did that for a while. So I have, in fact, grokked a healthy amount of risk aversion.
So, to tie this up, I mean, what Pitt Danny said is true. Okay, Trump is not kicking the can down the road like we've seen politicians do for the last 40 years. Okay,
right.
Did you really think it would be so? Basically, the last 40 years, well, no, I'd say 30. The last 30, 35 to 40 years, the kind of the foundation of the global economy, all right, was that the United States is the sole superpower, okay, because we won the Cold War, and the United States is the arbiter of peace and security in the world. The United States will open up its markets to global investment and global trade. We will even give you, preferential treatment when it comes to having access to our markets for your goods, all right, and this is all based on the promise that we allow you free trade here, we allow you easy regulations to sell your products, and in return we are the global hegemon, okay, and the arbiter of peace. All right, this has been like a kind of a foundation of what you could call the Pax Americana that began in 1991. All right, but that simply just doesn't work anymore. What we've seen is for 40 years the steady, okay, and at times fits and starts of deindustrialization of America, and the severe, yeah, I know, I'm out too, and the severe imbalancing of our economy. Every economy needs to have, there's like 4 sectors of an economy, okay. I took my economic 101, right? You got primary, all right, which is basically resource extraction, the mine and coal, cut, lumber, right?
Yeah.
mining,
raw
lumber,
material.
fishing, okay, farming, all right. Then two, there's manufacturing, okay, so building cars, right, building parts for cars, basically, physically manufacturing a product. Three is the service economy, all right, which is everything from fast food uh, from lawyers to fast food, okay, it covers all that. And then there's quaternary, which is the kind of the newer one, which is information. Okay, information. So uh, financial financial products. All right, and the internet e-based economy. Okay, so what we've had in the last 40 years is basically a constant decline from the first and primary and secondary to tertiary and quaternary economic sectors. That's been the focus, and that was exacerbated, especially for us millennials. Growing up in the '90s, okay, and graduating from high school, reaching adulthood right at the turn of the century, or right at the turn of the millennium, and we were all told that you need to go to college. Everyone's going to be a professional. Everyone's going to be a credentialized professional. Okay, and there was simply no need for manufacturing and no need for resource extraction, and it was a lie. Like you got played, and yeah, there are millions of people who are pretty much living under um, the financial burden of a mortgage and having children while having none of those, thanks to the loans they took out. Okay, um, yeah, I mean you bear some responsibility for that, but I mean let's be real. Societal indicators were telling you to make that decision, and if you were just a person who believed what they were told, believed the institutional experts, then you know, yeah, it's not all your fault. I mean, I get it, um, but that's just the sad state of affairs. So that's basically has to end. And you really think undoing 40 years of sacrificial economic choices, okay? You think that's going to be painless? Of course not. It's going to be devastating in the near term. All right, and you just have to. I mean, just let it pass. There's nothing you can do about it. Just let it happen.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
and plan accordingly.
by and large, millennials and younger are not going to get to retire, right?
Oh no,
So
I've accepted that. Exactly. I'm going to die. I'm going to die poor, lonely, and afraid. I've accepted that fact. I've made peace with that. Okay, it doesn't bother me
you're in
anymore.
much better shape. You're in much better shape than a lot of millennials. But the Patrick says, "Have a good day, everyone." And yeah, I'll see you soon, brother. Uh, Later today, Patrick and I are going fishing with the old man today, and little battle's coming with us. I can't wait to see little battle try to pull a 30-pound catfish out of the water. It's gonna be so good.
Is he
Um,
gonna be? Is he gonna be noodling? Are you using Patrick as bait? Are you?
so you could refer to it as noodling, but it's not. We're not sticking our hands into catfish. No, we have pool noodles with concrete weights in them and a line. So we just throw like 30 of these traps out and float around. And when one of them stands up, it's kind of like ice fishing, but from a pontoon boat. You see one pop up and it's like, oh, there's a fish, grab him. uh,
I like it.
and I mean, yeah, we'll probably catch 100 pounds of catfish today, literally.
I assume catfish are like alligators, and they love stinky, spoiled meat.
Yes, and they're delicious.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh yeah, they are. Oh
yeah,
yeah, right. First time, first time I had living in Memphis, right? But when I was about 20 years ago, yeah, first time I had like fried catfish. I'm like, oh my god, this is freaking ambrosia. Fried catfish with pork shoulder, barbecue sauce, and coleslaw and mac and cheese. Yeah, man, fucking fucking fat boy heaven.
yeah,
Yep.
oh yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, you don't see a lot of fat Asians, and it's not because they don't have food. It's because the food's just not that good. Now, in fairness, I mean the Koreans have it nailed with the trifecta when you got the lettuce wrap, the samgyeopsal pork belly, and the kimchi. Okay, killing it, killing it. But yeah, y'all ain't got it like this. Y'all ain't got the ham hock and the green beans.
No.
So millennials retirement, and this, you know what, this should go on the list. This should be one of our deep dives. The intentional sabotage of the retirement plans, because that's what Social Security is. The Social Security program system, it's not just a terrible Ponzi scheme that's about to collapse on its ear, right? Boomer voters are concerned about, Trump's going to end Social Security, and the Democrats are catastrophizing Donald Trump wanting to do something with Social Security. He said over and over again he's not going to touch Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid.
I've been hearing Republicans are going to end Social Security for 30 years.
Exactly.
It literally every single election, every election.
Americans are going to end Social Security by the mere dint of its continued existence. Because here's what Social Security is. The government saw Americans achieving wealth and prosperity in large part through earning pensions. It was a part of your usual negotiated compensation package when you entered into a legitimate career. When you went from flipping burgers to turning wrenches, and you got yourself a job where you're going to work for 30 years and then retire, the pension, the retirement pay, was part of that initial compensation package.
Yep.
The government decided, oh no, fuck that. We've got people being happy. No way. Got to shut that shit down. The point to Social Security was to sabotage your retirement, to take it away from you, to cause you harm. And it has been so much. It's like everything the progressives do. It's not just that they started off on the front end by deciding to cause you harm. It's that they're so evil and so twisted that when they set out to cause you harm, it turns out even worse than they had hoped.
I mean, they're amoral. They're neither good nor evil. It's just simply pursuit of profit. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not. Oh, that would be understandable, certainly. But there was never a profit motive behind Social Security. And if there was, then we could attribute this to incompetence instead of malice. But the point was to end private retirement. And they knew on the front end that the Social Security program would never be as good as private retirement. It has tracked consistently way behind the market. So if you had just a basic bitch retirement account, 401k, tracking slightly behind the market, you're 10 times better off than living on Social Security. And that has been true since its inception. And now we're in a period where, half the country is killing off their babies or just not having them. Y'all, abortion's a big problem, but another huge problem, especially where things like Social Security are involved, is our kids aren't having sex. They're choosing not to engage with one another. And there's a lot of factors there. There's the whole Me Too thing. There's the hookup culture that has actually turned a lot of them off to dating generally. And they're choosing voluntarily not to reproduce. The housing market crash of 2008, coupled with the absolute absence of a retirement plan for these kids, the thing we talked about earlier with the average millennial is never going to own a home, and it just gets worse. The younger generation you talk about, it gets even less likely statistically in the current situation for each progressively younger generation, and they're seeing they can't afford to have children, right? And so they're not. And the thing about the Social Security Administration, the Social Security program, for every one who is collecting Social Security, the program needs 3 people working.
So
minimum three people working to fund that. So as the boomers and then Gen X, and like Mario and I are both on that line where some scales say we're Gen X, some scales call us nobody calls us millennials. We're geriatric millennials.
I prefer proto-millennial. Okay,
Proto-millennial.
we're that sweet spot where half of your life is before the internet age, and the other half of your life is after the internet age. Okay.
Yeah. So right now, if nothing is done with Social Security, the best possible outcome that I can hope for my children is that it falls apart before they start paying taxes. Because right now, all these assholes on Twitter going on about, it's not an entitlement. I paid for that thing. No, you didn't. You didn't. You paid for somebody who's older than you to get it. And now you're still paying for somebody who's older than you to get it. And those of you that are collecting it right now and complaining about how you paid in to get it, yeah, I'm paying for your Social Security and I'm never going to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In almost 30 years when I'm eligible, right? Because let's be real. I'm 43 years old. You think I'm going to see it when I turn 62 or even 65? Hell no. If it even exists, the retirement age will have been pushed to at least 73 or 75. So in 30 years, if it exists at all, it won't be valuable. Imagine your retirement plan is $800 a month from a government program that you paid into your whole life. And it's $800 a month. Not today. 30 years from now.
Yeah. Which, 30 years from now, $800 a month today, that's enough money to survive homeless. Okay. Basically covering your basic food, basically food, water. All right. And, occasional clothing and occasional ramshackle shelter. That's what $800 a month would get you today. 30 years from now.
If you're sleeping in a homeless shelter, yeah. Maybe if you're living in your car, maybe if you had a car when you ended up on it, and you're living in the car, you might be able to get by on $800 a month.
Right. And you just gave up on paying any bills or responsibilities. You just screw it.
Your car's paid off and you're uninsured.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do need to go. I want to go do my walk run. I got to work at 9, so I need to get it in quick. I need fresh sweat to wash away the smells.
I'm gonna go and take a hot shower.
Oh, it would be nice, but
I told you earlier last week I'm on well water. There's a little breaker up against the well pump that occasionally trips. And last week, Fee, the wife, had left with all the kids. I'm home alone, and I'm kind of rushing to get out the door because I'm on my way out to go to work. And I hopped in the shower, good hot water, soaped up, scrub, and the water just cut off. And there I am, home alone, middle of nowhere, bare beam, butt naked, and soapy, and crawling up under the house to trip that breaker and turn the water back on. Well, shit happens.
Now, since I've been forced into my primitive state, I will adopt the ways of my prehistorical Scythian ancestors. All right. Basically, I wash myself with fresh sweat and sunlight to disinfect myself. Okay. I never get a haircut, and half of my diet is from dairy products that have been fermented by rennet from the animal skins in which I keep my milk. Okay. So I'm out there.
You gotta get yourself a slightly edged stick.
Yeah.
And just you get a good sweat going on and just scrape the filth off.
Yeah. Look, I'm in your neighborhood. Okay. I'm in your neighborhood. I smell bad. All right. I'm drinking kefir, and I'm ready for action. All right.
Well, salam alaikum, baby.
It's no salam alaikum. It's the four wheels. It's which you know. Ooh,
I hadn't noticed.
It's the four cycles. What do you
All
get?
right, brother. You go scrub your nuts. I'm going to go catch some catfish. You guys, we appreciate you. Thanks for watching. We love you, and we will see you with, I promise, a more prepared show tomorrow.
Ciao. All right.